This is Detective Brian Ridge of the West Memphis Police Department, currently in the West Memphis Police Department. Today's date, 10/4 of 93. The time is 2:25 p.m. Currently in the office with me is Sandra K. Nodini, address 1121 South Macaulay. Miss Nodini, I just got off the telephone with you just a few minutes ago. You informed me of an occurrence that happened on the day that the three boys came up missing.
Yes, sir.
That were murdered in Robin Hood Park.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you go through that real quick, just what occurred on that day?
I left work. I usually come home down Ingram.
Okay, what time did you leave work?
So we don't have no time clock. And I'm not supposed to get off till 4:30, but by 10:15 after 4, I left every day and carried the mail to the post office.
Okay.
So I want to say I looked at my clock in the car and it said 4:24. I'm going to say between at least 4:20 and 4:35 at the latest is when I drove by. I came down Ingram, I turned on Barton, I turned on Macaulay. As soon as I turned on Macaulay, I noticed some teenagers, one out in the middle of the road.
Okay, are you talking about East Macaulay?
Yes.
One block off of Ingram?
Right.
Okay.
And I turned left onto it. As I turned, I noticed the guy was out in the road. I almost ran him over in my car. I made eye contact with him.
Okay.
There was no doubt in my mind it was Eccles.
Damien Eccles?
Damien Eccles.
All right.
No doubt.
How did you know it to be him? Because of what you've seen in the papers, seen his pictures, or have you known him before then?
I've never seen him that I know of or recall before. His hair was shaved on the left-hand side. The hair was all swapped over to the right. It was long and streamed. He had on a long black coat. Then as I got up to him, I noticed over to my right at the curve of, I would say it would be Scottwood, Macaulay there, at that park, on the curve on the highway, there was a girl wearing a long black coat, dirty reddish brown hair, parted in the middle, straight down on the sides. There's another boy, what I call a black motorcycle jacket on, blondish colored hair, kind of long, not as long as Eccles' boy. And as I was coming up, I noticed the kid on the bike jerked his bicycle back 3 times like the guy was detaining him.
Okay.
And as I came on up, with Eccles being in the middle of the road, I didn't know if he was going to go left or right, and I had to kind of more or less stop. And that's when I noticed I looked him in the eye, he looked me in the eye, and I seen the girl off to the side. The Baldwin boy squatted down and struggled and sat on the front bicycle tire.
Okay, the Baldwin boy, is that the one you're describing as having the blonde hair?
The blondish colored hair.
Okay.
And then the other guy was standing to the left of them, had his hair in a mohawk style cut. Looked like his hair was on the order of a reddish purple up at the top. Like maybe it had been colored. I don't think it was his original color of his hair. He was standing there. After the boy jerked the bike back, I'm saying...
Describe the boy for me.
I know he had brown hair.
How old would you say he was?
I'd say it was one of the 8 to 9 year old boys, anywhere from 6 to 9, 10-year-old kid.
Okay.
I passed it off at the time as it was just some teenagers picking on a kid. Then I drove on past. And I ain't gonna say that on tape, what I've seen the guy. I almost ran Eccles over with my car. I almost hit him with my passenger mirror, though, of my car. I know the back bicycle tire on the bicycle, the kid's bike was like what I call a mud tread bike. Didn't have no fender on it. I know his foot came down, his right foot came down. I want to say his tennis shoe was white.
Okay. Do you know what color the bicycle was?
No, I've been trying to picture it back in my mind, and I can't. I want to say it was red, but I ain't going to swear to it right now.
Okay.
I can't get the picture to come back in my mind. I can get it here and there, but when I try to get in on the focus on the detail, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm blocking it out or something.
Okay. Now this happened, you're certain, on the day that the 3 boys came up missing?
I'm positive it happened on the day the boys came up missing, because when I gave you that statement I gave you before with the kid hollering at the back, the thought went through my head that it was those guys down the road that I had saw detaining the one boy on the bike.
Okay, you're talking about the statement you gave on the 22nd of September where you heard some boys hollering in the background?
Yes, sir.
Or in the weeds behind your house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What vehicle were you in that day?
My blue 86 Monte Carlo.
Okay. Was anybody else with you?
No, sir.
Okay. Is that a normal route that you take to go home?
Normally I will go down Ingram and turn down that little street that'll bring you back on McCauley there, but on down.
Okay. Twist?
Yeah, twist.
Okay.
But this day I just happened to, I'll go either way. Sometimes I'll come down Ingram to Barton and go down to McCauley, or I'll go down that Ingram to the twist and get on McCauley. I've been known to do it either way, going to and from work.
Okay. Had you known Damien or Jason or Earl or Jesse? Had you known any of those in the past?
If I do not recall it.
Okay. So by your coming forward now, it's because you've seen their pictures in the paper, is that correct?
When I saw the pictures in the paper and heard the description in the papers and on the news, I hadn't really read all the paper articles and I hadn't seen all the news articles on it. It did not hit me until after I gave you that statement. Within 2 days after giving you that statement, it hit me. I seen them and there's a picture in my mind, no doubt. Now why I blocked it out, now I don't know. But there's no doubt. I saw what I saw.
Okay. You're holding the phone for me?
Last casino was on the line. They were waiting for it, so.
Okay. Can you take a number and I'll call them back as soon as this interview's over? So you just recently, after giving this statement, you remember the incident that happened before you gave this statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And have you told this to anybody else?
Just my husband and my mother-in-law, and I told them the Friday before the picture of the girl came out in the paper, in the commercial appeal paper, about it Friday night. We stayed at her house 2 weeks ago from the day. And I told her, I got up and drew her a picture. I still got the picture at the house where I told them where everybody was standing.
Okay.
And then it comes out in the paper, and she comes over to the house Monday or so to get a paper. She gets our evening times from us.
Your mother?
Or mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law? Okay. The little boy, do you think you can recognize a picture of him if you were to see it?
I say I can. I only seen the side of his head.
All right, you've seen the 3 pictures of the boys in the papers.
Yeah, it's one of the brown-headed boys. He was brown-headed. He was not blonde-headed.
It is one of the victims then?
I
One
would
of the
say
2?
so, with the hairstyle cut. It's kind of shaved. Back here, how they do it now.
Okay.
Short.
Now, you said that one of the boys was standing like on the front of his bicycle. Which one of them was it that was like at his bicycle?
Baldwin. The Skelly was at it too. But Baldwin actually straddled the front tire and sat down on the front tire and crossed his arms and set him on the handlebars.
Okay. Like they were keeping the boy from leaving?
Right, but as I was approaching up on the street and Eccles was out in the middle of the street, I could see him off to the right out of my side light. I could see him as I was coming up on him front ways. I noticed before I got up close enough to where I could decide if Eccles was going to get out of the road, I believe he was out there to distract me. I'm not going to lie about it.
Okay.
I noticed that girl, I'm going to say Baldwin, and he had his hand on the handlebars. And as I was driving up, the kid jerked backwards 3 times on his bike, and I was assuming it was like, let my bike go, get it, like he's trying to get away from it. And then the Skelly turned around and looked as Eccles was looking at me. Baldwin, when I come to a stop, because Eccles was in the road, Baldwin actually straddled the front tire, sat on the tire, and then crossed his arms and set him up on the handlebars like he was just talking to the kid.
Yeah.
And Miss Skelly was standing there facing me at that time, too, and the girl was watching me.
Okay.
Baldwin was the only one with his eye on the kid at that
The girl, do you have any identification for her? Have you ever seen her before?
I've never seen her before in my life. She had dirty, reddish brown hair. It was parted in the middle, and it was combed down. It was straight as a board, straight down both sides. She had on a long black coat. I want to say she had somewhat of a belly on her, like she might have been pregnant. And as I was sitting there, she closed her coat up over her. I don't even remember what she had on.
Okay.
But I know she had a long black coat on. It looked like it was a thin coat.
Okay. Did you hear anything that was said?
You know, I had the windows up on my car, and the passenger door was locked. So now, when I passed Speckles, I passed close enough to him that if the door had been open, he could open the door on me. And he looked out in my car as I went past him. I had eye contact with him quite a bit.
Had you seen any of them on the street before that date or after that date?
Not that I can recall.
Okay.
There was one car parked at the ballpark there, and there was nobody on the ballpark. I couldn't understand it that late in the afternoon. Usually there's kids out there. But I'm going to say it was a blue or a black two-door vehicle sitting on the right-hand side of the ballpark.
Okay.
Now, all them houses there, they got their windows up. But I've noticed since these murders occurred, their windows are always down.
Okay.
The shades or whatever are pulled down. But before all that stuff happened, the windows usually open. I wonder why somebody in the houses didn't come out there and watch kids.
Okay. A quick rundown is that at about between 4:20 and 4:35, you're going down Ingram to Barton to East McCauley, where you turn to go south.
Yes.
When you turn to go south, you see somebody standing in the road.
Right. Walking
That
towards me.
person is Damien Eccles,
There's no doubt.
wearing a black coat.
Right. I was saying
All
I
right.
still told you.
Then you look over to your right, you see a person you describe as Jason Baldwin, who is standing astraddle of a bicycle.
Right.
Then you see Jessie Miskelly,
Right.
and then you see a girl with red hair. Do you know who the girl is?
No.
Okay. And then you see this bicycle, which has got one youngster on the bicycle. It looks to be from 7 to 10 years old.
Right.
Okay. And you believe that that is one of the victims that was found to be murdered? Is that correct?
I do.
Okay. And this all happened on the same day that you gave a statement previously that you heard a kid hollering and an older voice. The kid was hollering, "Somebody help me."
He was hollering help.
Okay.
Help.
And then
Help. And then he hollered for somebody to help him.
then you heard a older voice saying that nobody was going to come help him.
Right.
Okay. And that all happened on the same day, which would have been May the 5th of this year, 1993.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to conclude this interview. Time is 2:37 p.m.